Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastaisha Deshatarine Vancha Kalpataru Vasya Kripa Sindhupaye Vachat Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishvanebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we'll continue with the last session, last section of lecture, which is pending from last week.
Vaishnava etiquette, as per teachings of Manu and
Are you able to hear?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
and others and others and others. Lord Chaitanya exhibited them because he was an exemplary personality. Krishna himself, in the mood and role of Krishna's devotee, teaching Vaishnava etiquette, sadachar, proper conduct. And this last one is a little, it's there because it's humorous. I found Varsana Swami's explanation, which is directly from scripture, being very interesting. So I thought, show the picture and narrate this humorous story and end on a happy note. So there's a lot of people here. Thank you all for coming. Thank you very much. Now let's see if there's some discussion or comments or something you'd like to cover. Here's a runner of the microphone. Any comments or questions? Okay, back there.
Just a little comment. I really appreciate the topic, Maharaj. It's very sweet, Vaishnava etiquette. It's very easy to forget sometimes how to deal with one another, especially when we become familiar with the devotees. Familiarity could be very, almost like influential sometimes, that, it's easy to forget that, actually we're dealing with Vaishnavas. They're not like normal beings, they're devotees, but I feel like, if you really meditate on this Vaishnava etiquette, maybe that's a medicine for someone not to fall into the trap of Vaishnava aparat. And, and basically this is the only thing that blocks bhakti. I mean, anything else somehow or another could be forgiven, but Vaishnava aparat is like a very bad, so...
Very serious stuff.
Very serious stuff. And yeah, thank you, Hare Krishna.
Well, here's two things in response. I chose, because there's many, and the topic is vast, so I chose to make reference to scripture because that's Guru Sadhu Shastra. We're guided by Shastra. So, all three parts, starting with the first part that's principle, then demonstrations of the principle found within Shastra, because that's the light that guides us. And side by side, I knew the other co-speaker was um, Radhakrishna Prabhu, who was mainly speaking about application. So I was doing the Leela, and he was doing the application of the Leela. But so it's a good team. And a second thing is, the plan is every year, probably the same Martin Luther King National Holiday Weekend, every year for a number of years, we'll conduct programs like this. So if you're not wondering what you're going to do next year at Martin Luther King holiday, you can come to Naperville. The co-speaker is going to be Brahmatirtha Prabhu. He's already committed. Brahmatirtha, some of you that don't know him, you may know him from the title of the book that was Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers. He was the perfect questioner, and Prabhupada was the perfect answerer. But he is a very affable individual. He has a great sense of humor. He has abundant Vaishnava etiquette in his character. And his current service, he lives in Gainesville, Florida. And he has full responsibility for the Bhaktivedanta Institute of Higher Studies, BIHS. And the people at BIHS, have been commissioned by the GBC to make the plan for the planetarium in Mayapur. That's like weighty service, because there was another person that was doing it, and there was some dissatisfaction. It was without all the stuff. The GBC, made the request of Brahmatirtha and the devotees in Gainesville to make a plan. So it's not all that they do. They just had a seminar the same weekend that we had this seminar in Naperville on the studies of consciousness in science. Very high stuff. And PhD and astrophysicists and people as their speakers. He's a very gifted person. So next year, Martin Luther King weekend, the dates will change by lunar calendar, by solar calendar, but part 2 of Vaishnava etiquette, and then part 3, part 4, and we'll carry on. Because it's important, but as you said. Anything else? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I have one comment and one question. Comment is, thank you for sharing that the reason behind why one should not step over another person. As growing up, my parents had told me that. Now I followed it blindly without understanding that. I never questioned it.
Yeah.
I never questioned it. But when I tell my kids, they question me why I shouldn't do it, why they shouldn't do it, and now I have the answer at least to tell them. So when I have an answer, I think they will understand and obey or follow that. The question I have is, going in that direction. You talked about Mrigari and how he didn't even want to step over an ant.
On an ant.
On an ant, yeah, on an ant. But in practical life, as we are walking, at least for me, as I'm walking, on the streets and everywhere, I am not paying attention in that level of detail on whether there is an insect or a bug, or unknowingly, many, I step over many of those living entities.
Well, step on, not just step over.
Step on, yeah. Step on even, yeah. Step on and step over.
That was the thing with the ants. He didn't want to step on the ants because they were all over the path. So he got his garment out and was moving to the side so he could run and fall at the feet of Narada Muni. So, what to do when you're not aware, what to do.
Yeah.
That's your question.
What is the, yeah.
Okay. The etiquette is, this is from Prabhupada, a training that I received is, this is from a lecture that he gave in Los Angeles, that by your breathing, living entities are being sacrificed. By drinking water, living entities are being sacrificed. By existing, living entities are giving up their lives for you, your sake. Therefore, and then he went on, even when you walk across the lawn, you're stepping on living entities, trampling on the grass and all the bugs or whatever else is there. Therefore, anything that one does should be in the service of Krishna. Don't walk across the lawn unless it's in the service of Krishna. No, if your life is service to Krishna, then you're covered. It's not like, okay, my life is in service to Krishna so I can kill living entities left and right and sideways and no problem. We're respectful. There's a mosquito. I could just slap the mosquito or whatever. But we don't, because they're living entities. And super soul is within. There's a soul also. So we're respectful. We may do needful things. We do needful things. But what's needful? To carry out your service to Krishna. And otherwise, you tolerate some discomfort or inconvenience or something. We don't have a license because we're Vaishnavas. We can just bully our way around the world, throughout our life. We don't do that. We're respectful. And if there is something incidentally or accidentally, we're not held responsible karmically, and that living entity gets an elevated position because they've given up their life in the course of contacting a Vaishnava. So they have to be elevated Vaishnavas. That's what to do. Small thing, just become an elevated Vaishnava.
Vaishnava.
Okay.
Maharaj, I was listening to the lectures, and for the Grahastha life, what is the best Vaishnava ethic? Because most of the time we are spending with the other spouses. So what is the best ethic we follow? For this?
What's the best what used to follow?
Yeah, best Vaishnava etiquette. Vaishnava etiquette, what is
best etiquette to follow? Well, you want the best, chant Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
And then downstream from that, so one who's chanting Hare Krishna, what's the etiquette they follow? And I'm indicating the whole topic that I chose to speak on is minimally respect. And respect for all living entities, and then commensurate with their position. And especially the bhaktas or Vaishnavas. Respect. But that's true for any ashram, not just Grahastha ashram. Then there are duties that Grahasthas can do, should do. Then you do those for Krishna also. With the idea, not just check the box, but this is my Grahastha duty, check the box. But for the satisfaction of Krishna. Let me ask you a pointed question, since you've asked me a pointed question. You're a Grahastha, I've noticed. And you're not only a Grahastha, but you're a devotee. trying to be a devotee. And trying to be a devotee, you have first initiation and second initiation, yes? So one of the opportunities and responsibilities of a grahastha brahmana is to worship the deity. You worship the deity? In the home? What about at the temple?
Temple, when the pujaris were not there, we were helping to do the service.
Okay. What about something regular? Because the more the merrier, right? I mean, it's for you and for the deity and the relationship with the deity that you worship the deity, not just, when occasion is needed. And I'm speaking to you, but by speaking to you, I'm speaking to everybody in the room that has second initiation, and maybe on festival days or necessity days, but on a regular basis, because things that are beneficial should be done regularly. Take the other four. We hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly. We serve the Vaishnavas regularly. Then there's other duties that go along with being a householder, charity, and so forth and so on. But top is this bhakta. Those have, and you have, it's acknowledged. I'm repeating myself, but it's acknowledged that you have some attainment in devotion. So show by example. In your home, yes. And in the temple, yes. Not just you. I'm not picking on you.
Thank you, Maharaj.
It's for everybody. And the principle is more persons come forward. I mean, it just happens. The Hare Krishna movement is growing. And new people come in the door. New people come in the door, they start to learn XYZ. And one of the things of XYZ is you do bhajana kriya in the association of sadhu sangha bhajana kriya. And then comes the big one, the big mountain, the anartha nivritti, eradication of unwanted things. And then somewhere in there is diksha. So what do I need to do? What do I need to do to become qualified for diksha? And then once I have that qualification, receive it, then what? What am I supposed to do? And that's the Hare Krishna movement going forward. 50 years from now, what's it going to look like? And it depends on what people today do. It's going to help determine what the future looks like. So what's the standard? Therefore, this little remark. Better watch next personal question you ask me. You might get something else back. Okay, behind you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, you mentioned about the Chota Haridas story, right?
Yeah.
And Chota Haridas actually, drowned in the sea and committed suicide.
Well, river, yes.
Yeah, in the river. So, and you mentioned that Mahaprabhu was like, okay, I mean, he deserves that.
Everyone was shocked. And Mahaprabhu not only was okay, he said, this is the only appropriate behavior for someone who's transgressed the etiquette of a Vaishnav, of a sannyasi. He was heavy. And why was he heavy? He loved Chota Haridas, shown in the he loved him. But he wanted to set an example, like strong. So now, your question.
Yeah, my question was like, he was a very good devotee, but
He was a good devotee.
but
He made a transgression. Now, normally we're forgiving when people make transgressions. Mahaprabhu, you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, that section, and you'll find the explanation. Why? Why was he so heavy? Because in this age of Kali, people make a show of sannyas and meanwhile engage in nonsense. It's not at all representative of the sannyas ashram, and Mahaprabhu didn't like it. So for his dear devotee, he took the example of admonishing him so strongly so that people in the future would not get the wrong understanding about bhakti is for people that don't have control of the senses. Sannyas is for people that don't. He didn't like that. He didn't want that. So he set a strong example. But he didn't break from Chota Haridas. He engaged in hearing his singing in a different way. But it was to give instruction to the world. Strong. You don't become a follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and do nonsense. Strong.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay.
I'm very new. I'm trying to understand.
Which
When
one?
you earlier you said like when you are cutting a lawn or walking on the lawn, you could step on an ant.
It's not like it's okay, but it's not sinful. If you're in Krishna's service, and there by accident, so make sure when you're walking across the lawn, you're doing some important service for Krishna, not just kesara asara.
So what would I consider? I mean, like in my day-to-day life, right?
Yeah.
So everything I do is for a duty of me. I mean, like if I need to cut a lawn, if I'm a farmer, my dad is a farmer, we have to plow the lands and we have
Fine.
to all these things.
Fine.
Would that constitute as I'm
No.
constituting something here? Or?
Supposing you're a householder and you have to mow the lawn. You mow the lawn. When you mow the lawn, the grass is being cut, insects and whatever. You have to breathe.
Right.
For Krishna.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah, got it.
I mean, the emphasis, we had this nice discussion in Naperville. There's morality and there's Bhagavad Dharma. There's virtue and there's paradharma, devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arjun, killing. You don't kill. Krishna said, so you kill, he's obliged. And he did. Skillfully. But then it's paradharma. And there's the distinction between dharma and paradharma. There's a distinction between morality and service to the personality of Godhead. So be clear what the distinction is and follow the service to the personality of Godhead. How do I do that? Well, it takes intelligence, spiritual intelligence, to discern this from that. That's what intelligence does. It's a function that discerns this from that. Faculty of discrimination. So what's in the world and what's transcendental? So go in the direction of I'm supposing I'm not there yet. Go in that direction under the authority of Guru Sadhu Shastra. And genuinely, not cosmetically, but genuinely, sincerely strive in that direction. When you hear something from Scripture, then you let the other thing go and you do the thing that you heard from Scripture because it's scripturally directed. It's like cooking. When you cook, living entities are giving up their lives. Offered to Krishna. Because it's for Krishna. It's not for your palate. It's not for your physique. We do things that have that consideration. This is healthy and that's unhealthy. Anyway, for Krishna. It's a principle to live by. That's the bhakti principle. You practice it and practice it and practice it and practice. Like anything, you practice it. It becomes second nature. It's just how you live your life. Supposing you don't practice it, your life is all over the place. Not you, anyone. Bahushaka yanantasya. Many branch, bahushaka. That's material life. No focus, no center. But there is a center. And bhakti is make clear what the center is and go for it. And it's not easy. It's not like, okay, what's next? It's a cultivation. But that's why we're doing what we're doing. Examples from scripture to guide us, making wise decisions, what to do and not to do. Anything else? Anything over here? Silence on this side of the room. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, just I went like maybe 5-6 minutes more than. I just want to finish this section so that we can start the new lecture tomorrow. We can open it for discussion. Any sharings, any comments, inspirations from today's hearing? Yes, Sarvali Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, beautiful topic, beautiful lecture. The questions and answers were beautiful too. I have a question, Prabhu. When a mosquito bites, what should we do? Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Okay. So I think this many times in Vrindavan when Prabhupada was staying. Okay. Sulochana Mata, you want to answer? You have something to answer?
No, Prabhu, not for the question, just comment.
Okay. So Vrindavan, okay, typically like mosquito.
Prabhu, your voice is low, Prabhu, at least for me.
Hare Krishna. Is it okay now?
Now it's better. Better.
Okay. This is something I read like, okay. See, Prabhupada, when he was in Vrindavan, okay, in Vrindavan, like at least even now, during those days as well, almost in everywhere in India as well, right? We have this mosquito problem. And the same thing, okay, when Prabhupada's disciple, they used to put him, like when he goes to bed at night, okay, they used to have this mosquito net, right, covering it. And so somehow, like there was one mosquito which was inside the net. And Prabhupada's disciple was trying to, what happens when there's a mosquito, we try to crush it, right, with our hand, we try to crush it. So he was trying to do something like that. Prabhupada said, no, don't do that. And slowly Prabhupada used his cloth or something to get that mosquito out of the net, or he taught him what to do it. He didn't kill the mosquito. But the moment that mosquito sat and trying to bite, then Prabhupada said, now we have the right. Initially, the mosquito did not harm us. So it is okay. We should not try to unnecessarily harm another living entity. But the moment they attack us, then we have the right to defend ourselves. That's what he said for this mosquito incident. One way is like try to clean the. One of the things is like if the house is messy and things are there, then mosquitoes, it becomes a breeding place of mosquitoes. So we should ensure that our surroundings are clean. That way we can reduce the number of mosquitoes. Okay. And other thing is like not unnecessarily we go on because the mosquitoes carries also a lot of diseases. So we should be careful about it. Take some precautions, and if they're biting, then we can take action. Anyone else would like to add to it? This is what I understood from Prabhupada's when he gave this instruction to his personal servant.
Prabhu, just to add on, when you say when a mosquito bites, you can do to take action to defend. Now, action to take to defend oneself can be to allow the mosquito fly away or to kill it.
Yeah.
So which one is more proper as per Vaishnava etiquette?
When I meant defend means like we can kill.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Sulashna Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, the same like mosquito related in one of the conversation, Prabhupada also told like that ki, like the disciple is about to kill. Then at the time he told like in the Vrindavan itself, he told the mosquitoes, those are the Damvasis. So we are just the visitors. We came here. So we are not supposed to kill. Like that I heard in one of the conversation, Prabhu, regarding this. And other than that, like Maharaj, while this question and answers discussion was going on, at the time Maharaj told, like one of the instruction when he was giving, then he told, like it's not only for that person and whoever is there in this room and all, whoever is hearing for all of them and all like that. So I like that point. And the other point, like whenever one of the disciple was asking about Chota Haridas related, then at the time Maharaj was very like he's relishing. He's telling, "Oh yeah, shocking," like that the words, and he's relishing the pastimes or the scriptures, and his voice is very happy, like while explaining of all that one. So I like that point, Prabhu. Generally, matlab, in my case, if I read like it's like just like reading, like mission, like I'm reading Bhagavatam and all like that, and even summary also is going on like that. But the way they are Maharaj is relishing, like it's they are enjoying it. So I sense that, Prabhu. That's it, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yes, Shamkun Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Shamkun Prabhu.
I can say something, but if anybody else wants, I can speak after them. If you would like to add something after you, I can go.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, if I remember correctly, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when I think he was in the house, somebody's house, then a snake came and he ordered, okay, snake is there, you kill it. If I remember that incident also there. Because he said it is dangerous.
Yes, bro. Yes, you're right. Okay. So Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada said snakes are envious by nature, so they can be killed. So the thing which I like the most is like when Maharaj is saying all these things, something which I've been like kind of at least receiving it frequently in the recent past is okay. Do devotional service in a very mindful way. Okay. So whenever he says it, walking across the lawn, okay, that is also a service to the Lord. Just walking to one place to another place is also a service. Moving the hands, okay, engaging in anything, like it's just not only the mind and everything, anything, do it in a very mindful way and don't whimsically do anything. Okay, that's kind of thing which comes, and especially like even like as like Subhasra Mataji mentioned, when we are taking some steps in Krishna consciousness, like here, like Maharaj gave the example of taking second initiation, do some service in a very regular way and plan for it, and do just not like it's a ritualistic process that we take up some service or like some additional step, but behind whatever we do, there must be a plan. Use the intelligence to make a plan and then like discuss with maybe other Vaishnavas. It's just not I make a plan and just go and execute it. It's also better we discuss with a Vaishnava who has a very good understanding of scriptures, at least decent understanding of scriptures. So let's see whether whatever services or whatever things I'm planning to do is in line with the sadhus and shastra. So that way, like I can align my actions in a right mode, and as well as take some baby steps towards that in that direction. That's something which I take it, and then also like Maharaj said, become elevated devotees. So this is an invitation, at least like for us, like once again for me, at least, I would say, okay, take some steps to make a concerted effort, conscious effort to take steps towards that. Just don't be happy with where you are, but try to always keep your focus, put some effort, and make it in a conscious way to reach that goal. Something with this too. I just take this is a takeaway from me from today's class. Anyone else like to share? Sulochana Mataji, yes.
Yeah, Prabhu, I forgot one more point, Prabhu. When one of the disciple asking a question at that time, he's telling like that ant ka step on and over and all like that. Even Maharaj is correcting that points also. It's a step on like that. So I feel like same that quality from the Maharaj is inculcated by Shamkund Prabhu also. He's also doing the same for us, for all of us by putting his efforts and all. So thanks for that also, Prabhu, to Shamkund Prabhu.
Shyam Kundru, maybe.
Yes, yes. That was a little embarrassing, Mataji. Sorry. What to do? Anyway, coming back to today's lecture, I raised my hand for a few points. In the beginning of the lecture, or at the beginning of the question and answer session rather, today, Maharaj said, I chose demonstration of the principle from the Leela, whereas there is another devotee, he's actually a brahmachari and also functions as a guru in ISKCON. His name is Radha Krishna Prabhu. He primarily serves in Houston, but I think now he's traveling everywhere because he's a guru too. So Radha Krishna Prabhu was speaking on the application of the Leela, and Maharaj is speaking on the demonstration of the principle from the Leela. And he said that I'm choosing to demonstrate it from scriptures. One of the things that happens for a person who's like a guru, a leader, etc., is that when they speak about things, it's one thing to speak about topics like just pure philosophical topics in the form of what is the nature of time, what is the nature of material energy. There are some topics which you can't speak about, say, this is what it is. These are like postulates in mathematics. So maybe like in Euclid's geometry and postulates, you might have read something when we all a child. So it's one thing to say these are principles. But when it comes to application in life, there are several ways to do it. One is to demonstrate it from, hey, this is how scripture is talking about it. Like there are some Leela which demonstrates it. That is the path which Maharaj took. Sometimes it is also that, here, not just Leela, I see it in the people doing it. So sometimes we can express it by sharing an anecdote. And maybe the last option is how I would have done this because I was taught this way by somebody else to work on it, and I demonstrated the principle by following it in a particular way. The last option is the least favored option. It is the worst case option. And it is a dangerous option also. Not just the last option, the second option too is a little dangerous option. Because somehow the focus comes on our own selves. And sooner or later, when we try to demonstrate principles by using our own example, and maybe once in a while by others' examples too, sometimes it so becomes that we start appreciating our own selves and how we are a cut above the rest. So that's why Maharaj took a very, very safe path, that he did not speak about anything about himself. As a guru, he can tell, when I as a guru am doing this, why you can't do it? But he didn't take that path. He just said, this is what the scriptures say, and that's it. And it's tough to find those examples in scriptures. Very tough work. When you have a principle in mind, going through all the scriptures and getting things. It's not easy to relate, but Maharaj did it as a service for us. And he's also showcasing how much we have to be careful when especially speaking about such behavioral stuff or etiquette kind of stuff. That is one. Second, coming back to the question which came about Chota Haridas, etc. I mean, it seemed to be a very tough reprimand or a very tough correction on the part of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to even sanction that Chota Haridas, who was a sannyasi, should give up his life. Now, let's just go through it step by step. Let's not rush through it. What would have happened to Chota Haridas when he's going through giving up his body? It is like a deep sense of remorse and wanting that while I'm giving up this body, I want to be with Mahaprabhu, and his mind is full of the greatness and the loving exchanges of Mahaprabhu and an intense yearning that I want to be with you. So he's giving up his body in that sense, all that is happening. The same thing, you fast forward it for 500 years, approximately, in the 1970s, or 450 plus years, however you call it. In the 1970s, when Srila Prabhupada gave sannyas diksha to some of his disciples, it came to the extent that some of his students sent by post, those days courier service was not there, but it was the US post. They sent back the sannyas danda and wrote a message saying, I cannot follow the sannyas dharma. I have to get back. I probably have to either get married or I want a girlfriend. They gave the sannyas danda back. And Prabhupada, he's in the parampara of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and quite contradictory to what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did. He said, it's okay if you cannot follow but the vows of sannyas, but at least continue to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Because what Prabhupada did was a little different from what Mahaprabhu did, in the sense that Prabhupada wanted to very quickly expand this mission. And for him, he needed people who would give full-time commitment. And for a full-time commitment, when he had established temples, usually the persons in the temples there, they would conduct the programs. Only a sannyasi would travel from one place to the other place. So for him, sannyas at that point in time was not just of deeper renunciation, it was also a means for someone to give their entire life to the propagation of Krishna consciousness. And if somebody felt that I cannot give my entire life fully for it, I can do part of it. For Prabhupada, it was at least protect your own bhakti. It's not about the rules and regulations of scriptures. At least protect your own bhakti. Have just one wife. It is said that a person who comes from sannyasa ashram back to grihastha ashram, he is equivalently doing the act of swallowing or eating his own vomited stuff. That's so bad. In fact, in other sampradayas like the Madhva Sampradaya, they too have had examples of people doing it. They do a prayashchita ceremony that they make everybody eat on a banana leaf, and the person who goes from sannyas ashram back to the grihastha ashram, he will roll on the floor where all this banana leaf is present with different items. He will roll on the floor. His body will be filled with the food that had touched the saliva of the individuals, and he had to roll around it like 3 times around the temple, something like that. A lot of prayashchita had to be done. And the intention behind the prayashchita is never again take a vow when you're not ready for it. That's the intention. So that it goes very deep, that one has to stay truthful to the vow that one has promised. So we see from what Prabhupada, the reason I talked about this with Prabhupada is, I see the same thing with His Holiness Rumpad Maharaj too. Especially when there are devotees who come to him and say, I'm not able to chant properly. He doesn't decrease the standard, at least for chanting. So chanting is not like, sannyas ashram or something like that. but he says, the typical response that I've seen is he keeps his mouth, he keeps quiet. He waits for the individual to become even more humble and express something. And then he says, so how are you going to solve it? He wants that individual not to be on the plane of lamentation. He doesn't want to just the individual to lament. He said that because a person who has not been able to chant, he is in the mode of passion and ignorance. And Maharaj wanted him to come back and give a commitment and say, what can I do to make it better? So he doesn't come back and say, no, you're bad. He doesn't tell those words immediately that you are bad, that you are not able to chant. You gave a vow to me and you're not chanting because you gave a vow to me. He understands that. He doesn't put down the person. At the same time, he doesn't condone that behavior. He eagerly expects the person to correct himself or herself. So that's how we see the flow of the parampara. That's one point. I have other few points, but maybe later. It's 7:16 today. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shankundro. One last call. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Actually, what I observed is Maharaj always appreciates his god brothers, anybody who is doing devotional service very well. He always appreciates. So I liked it very much, Prabhu. I just wanted to practice that more and more in my life. So I lack in that appreciation for others. So that's what I wanted to mention. This is a very nice quality that we have to inculcate in ourselves. In each and every lecture that I've been observing, Maharaj always appreciates other devotees or God brothers who is doing very well. So that is what I just wanted to mention. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Okay. So it's 7:18. So we'll pause here for today. Tomorrow we'll start with a new lecture. Thank you so much for joining. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripasindhu bhayavacha patithanam pavanebhyo vaishnebhyo namo. Hare Krishna everyone. Wishing you all happy Vishu. New Year as well.